with me as always is Trey.
Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the West Coast Podcast, coming at you live on a Friday at 9:45 p.m. West Coast time. We got myself in the building, and we got Mr. Shane Gayu 11 on the other side. You bringing you the best podcast on earth on the West Coast or any other coast. It doesn't matter. We definitely take them all, but. We appreciate you guys for showing love to the Shane Got You 11 YouTube channel and all that. If you want to check out my own personal channel, you can type in Trey's Raw. I got some things in the works on that, um, video wise, so definitely check me out if you want to check that out. And on Shane's side, he's got you guys covered with patch notes. He's going to be dropping tip videos and some MCS style gameplay, so always check in for that on Shane Got You 11. But Shane, you got some pretty good news coming up. You are scheduled to make the single elimination, so and it's been a while since you've gotten to this point. So what I want you to do for the viewers that are out there, the ones that are live in the chat or the ones that are going to watch this back on the replay, is take us through what you had to go through to make it to this point, the blood, sweat, and tears, and because it took you so long to get back to this point, did you think that there was a point in time where you were like, I'm screwed, this is going to be the same old song and dance, and then, I seen that one video you had where you made a crazy comeback and you ended up getting the W, so take us through the emotional, physiological roller coaster that you went on to get to the point that you're at right now.
So yeah, so everyone go check out Trey's channel first of all. But no, I mean I did make the singles last year, Trey, but like this year I did miss the first single, and I was just like, holy crap, am I gonna make the single elimination this second time, or is it one of the years like you're saying, like is it gonna be the year where like I just struggle to make single elim? So basically, I had to win 2 games in a row, win to get in. If I lose one of the two, I'm done. I'm out. The first game that I needed to win, I ended up winning by 10, and he was tied with me at half. I made some good adjustments, and that definitely helped. But the last game that I uploaded for, the paid subscribers, so shout out to everyone that's a paid subscriber. Um, Basically, I was down 21-7, 28-14. The guy was running his mouth, talking about you better quit now, just give me the W, whoop de whoop. And I just battled, Trey. I just battled, and it got to 35-28, and I believe it was like a little time left on the clock, and I told myself this is the last drive. If I score, I'm going for the 2. And I basically timed it perfectly. Down 35-34, I go for 2. I got a very, very good 2-point conversion, Trey. I mean, I've told you that. And, it's pretty darn good. I did miss the one read. I won't say who, just in case, people are listening, but there's a main read that I'm looking at that I ended up hitting for the win. But yeah, I did miss the third read, technically the third read, because I have 1, 2, and then the third one that was wide open. But my initial read, Trey, I hit it, got the win. The guy wouldn't even verify it for me, so I had to wait like 10 extra minutes or whatever, which is whatever. So they'd verify it. And now I am in single elimination. I play tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It will be live streamed for the paid subscribers. And I am going against the 21st ranked Bam Scheming. A lot of people will probably know him, especially if you're old heads. He was, or he used to be, I don't know if he still is, good friends with Skimbo and those guys. I believe he still is. But yeah, so tomorrow I got a hell game. I'm the underdog. It is what it is. I'm just gonna play my game, and I'm gonna hopefully adjust as the game goes on. I got, like I said, a set 15 plays that I usually do. Got 3 plays that I usually will audible to in each formation, just to weigh how the defense is, Trey. And hopefully, hopefully I come out and just handle business and try to make a fun run. Got to win a few games tomorrow to make it to Sunday. If I make it to Sunday, I'm guaranteed $1,000, and then at one win after that, each win on Sunday, I believe, is $1,000 more. So that's where I am, Trey. Tomorrow I got to handle business, but definitely, 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 I rolled the dice and went for two. I believed it was necessary, and I gave him the 3 piece and a biscuit for the win.
Yes, sir. So basically, if anyone that's in the live chat right now or the ones I mean, this is gonna be archived live. So there's a good chance, by the time that you are seeing this, that the tournament has already came and gone. But what you can do is go on Shane's YouTube page, and you can hit join on the. I think it's the same. It doesn't matter if you're on computer, Android, iPhone. It'll have a join, and then you can do the membership. It's like $5 a month, which I know. I know you guys spend more on that a day on coffee, so I mean, help us out supporting the podcast and member up. Of course, you don't have to, but not only do you get to see the high tense environment of what it's like to be in a single elimination tournament, but you also get some benefits. You get to see how Shane adjusts in his games that he plays online and all that stuff, and all the live streams that are not the podcast are going to be for members only. So you said that you had a 2 point conversion play that was up your sleeve and that you felt really confident about. So do you think that if you weren't like 95% sure that you know that this 2 point conversion play wouldn't have worked, that you probably would have taken it to overtime? So is it fair to say that that was a play that you've practiced a lot, that you knew that if you got into a good opportunity that you like 95% sure that you would have, that you had it down pat?
I mean, yes. Trey, thank you. Honestly, yeah. I mean, it's not a lot to become a paid member, and it definitely helps, and it definitely gives back. And like I said, like I will get to where I give away some free paid members down the road as we build up. But no, Trey, yeah. So this play, this 2 point conversion, it's really, really good, man. I'm gonna be honest. It's really, really good. It's probably, honestly, like if you had to do like a real stat on it, I would say it's 80% conversion rate for the first time. It goes down a little bit more for sure if I try to do it multiple times in a game. But the very first time I do it, it's about an 80% chance that I'm going to get it. And the 20% that I don't get it, it's mainly, I would say mostly because of like a quick block shed by the computer, or and when I say quick block shed by the computer, I don't mean a blitz. Like I mean like a 3 or 4 down where it just sheds, you know what I mean, a normal rush. Because if you are bringing a blitz on me, I have a hot route or I mean, I have a read number two, my second read that will come open against a blitz. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I practiced it a lot. It started in college football. So the whole month, I believe I played college football. I ran it with the Texas Longhorns, Trey, and I passed it along to Madden to see if it would work, and it works, man. It really, really works. So yeah, obviously, if I tried to do it too many times, the percentage falls. But I didn't ran it all game long. I was going for the win. I was going for the dagger. Um, it's a good play that I can rely on, Trey, especially if it is the only time in the game that I've ran it.
Yeah, no, definitely, I got you on that. So you were pretty certain. So So what do you think? Like, obviously this run is, you had a lot more success than other tournaments. Last year you made the single eliminations, but overall it's been a rough year. So when you look at the difference between last tournament where you didn't make it and then fast forward to this tournament where you did a lot better, like what are some of the key differences, if there is any, that you could identify that you did differently this time that ultimately helped you got over the hump?
You know, it is really weird, Trey. It's like really weird. I mean, it's a great question by you, and I'm trying to give you like my honest take and my in-depth take. And honestly, I believe instead of snowballing like the last tournament on the final day where everything kind of like, snowballed like crap rolled down the hill. This time I nipped it in the bud, man. I just took it one play at a time. When I got down 21-7, let's just say, for the last game, which is what really happened, I just still took it one play at a time. I knew I had plenty of time, especially in this kind of game. It's more an offensive Madden, and it's 5-minute quarters in tournaments and gauntlet stuff. So you will usually have way more time to adjust and try to make a comeback, even if you're down 14 or 21, as long as you can figure them out or adjust. So for me, I think just with this tournament, Trey, is I slowed it down. I slowed it down, and when bad stuff was rolling, I nipped it in the bud. I adjusted. I let my brain relax more, and that's what I just got to do tomorrow. I mean, I know factually, like I am playing one of the best players in MCS, like obviously 21st ranked. So as the game gets deeper, if it's close, he will have the pressure, not me. I'm supposed to lose. Just like when I beat Problem, and I got called a mailman, which I was, which is funny, but he got upset and he was the one who lost, and I'm the one who did the money drive on him. I mean, I believe you watched that game when I played Problem because I did post up for a while on the paid membership to give paid members the first look at the game. But they have all the pressure in the world. The worst thing you can do is allow a top player to get a 14 to 21 point lead, because then their breathing rate goes down, right, Trey? Their stress goes down. Your stress goes up. So what you want to really do is you need to keep it close, which usually I'm really good at. I already know what most of them are going to come out on. They're going to come out, you know what I mean? They're going to come out in either mug or dollar, and just hope they can get some pressure, get some turnovers, and then offense is going to be gun bunch. The only thing that kind of stinks, man, is my players are good enough, but they aren't going to be what top players are, because they're going to have like that Calvin Johnson Trey who's going for like 4 million, and then the Amari Cooper who I think is going for 1.8 million. You know what I mean? So I'm missing a couple big time players that I can take over the top, but it is what it is, right? You can only do so much. You can only deal with the cards that are dealt at the time. So I'm going to try to really cause confusion on the defensive end against him and try to play smart football on the offensive side. I'm still going to come out passing like I normally do. I'm going to still play the same game. I'm going to make sure that I get up super early tomorrow to run a few games and get like awake feeling, and then just hopefully handle business. And even if I get down 7 or 14, just relax. You know that you have time. You have plenty of time. You have a whole game, which is 5-minute quarters. It's not like it's 3 or 4 minute quarters. 5 minutes is a lifetime, especially when most people are going to be coming out throwing the ball. You know what I mean, Trey? So basically, to sum it up, what I did this tournament compared to last tournament is I just nipped everything in the bud instead of letting it snowball.
Yeah, no, that's definitely going to be a positive thing. And, basically you didn't let yourself go in the tank. I think is kind of what I'm gathering from that one is You face adversity, which I mean is kind of naive. I mean, every player from Henry to Problem to Skimbo, you name it. They might be they were the best, in their respective times, but they have some close games. I mean, it's not like they get on Madden and are just steamrolling everything. Obviously, they had to face some adversity, so I think being able to react to that well and not letting yourself go in the tank is definitely going to make you a better player overall. Um, and you kind of answered my next question, but just kind of going back to scheming for a second. You said that he was cool with Skimbo back then, and did you do any scouting on scheming? Have you had some intel that has been presented to you? Have you seen any of the games that he's been playing, and do you kind of know what to expect from his end of things, or are you just kind of going in blind?
Unfortunately, I'm going like 50-50, man. 50% blind, 50% like assuming what I'm gonna get. Like some people told me they think he's running gun bunch and probably the meta defense, which is, I mean, really what all the top players are running right now. You're gonna get, like I said, you're either gonna get the mug or you're gonna get the dollar. Um, and so it just differentiates: is it gonna be man or is it gonna be zone mixed with man? What a lot of the pros are gonna do, like what Problem did, a lot of the pros are doing. Um, he came out in wide, which is Henry's defense, nickel wide, and he did a man defense. And then when he realized that I could attack the man defense, um, he went into Tampa 2, and then he went from that to like cover 2 man. And then he would rush 2 and would drop 2 in coverage and hope Aaron Donald would get a block shed, which I think he did a couple times. One time he got me sacked, but I just kind of adjusted really, really, really well against Problem. And if I can hang with Problem and beat Problem, I can hang with most people. And it'll just be, the matchups. But honestly, it's going to be how well I adjust and if I keep my focus and I, more awake. I'm hoping that I'll be awake. I don't know. Maybe I'll go like play some games and then go for a walk or like get my blood flowing. Because, unfortunately on the West Coast, it's going to be 10 a.m. for, you know, whereas 12 or 1 p.m. for the other people. But it is what it is. But yeah, I definitely am gonna just assume he's gonna come out with, the meta. I don't believe he's gonna be non-meta. I believe he's probably gonna be rocking Justin Fields or Michael Vick. And honestly, Trey, it's depends on what day I'm having. Any day, look, I'm just gonna be brutally honest, man. If I can beat Problem, this Problem's really good this year. He's the number one ranked on the leaderboards. If I can beat him, I can hang with anyone and have a good shot at beating them. Definitely matchups happen. Definitely, maybe it snowballs. I just got to keep my head up and keep it moving and see where it ends. So hopefully, man, hopefully, we rock it till the wheels fall off.
Yes, sir. Right to the wheels fall off. That is indeed the plan. So how instrumental and pivotal has the UMC crew been involved in this run of you getting to where you are now? Would you say that you guys are constantly in the lab? You're kind of chatting, going over some things, and shout out to our guy Assassin. I'm not sure if Assassin made single eliminations, but I did see a video where he played Dubby, and I guess he has a very unique off meta scheme and stuff. So, would you say that the UMC boys have contributed to your success in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I always give credit where credit's due. They definitely have helped me with my abilities and my theme team. I'm definitely running my own offense and my own defense. And we do share information. I'm more off meta. I know a lot of our crew is meta, and I mean, we've got a lot of real good players in our crew. Like I said, they help at the start of the year with the blitz pickups, how to block them, and they really helped with the theme team. And then like I got my own scheme, man, and step number one is honestly is learning how to pick up the blitzes that are going to become the meta, and then the second one is how to attack, right? How to attack these blitzes. If they're in, if they're in a cover two mug blitz, you can get them out and spread, especially when you know how to pick them up, because then they're gonna have to get out of it because it's more of a tight blitz. If they come out in mug and they're man coverage, or even they're in zone, but it's pinch, you can go in trips tight end and spam the QB power. I mean, there's a lot to adjust. If they're in cover two, you can do drags. You can would do with some deep posts with comeback. You just have to adjust. But no, they mainly help, man, honestly, with the start of the year with how to block the blitzes. And they've been really helpful with the theme team and stuff like that. I know Assassin, he used to be in UMC. He's with like Las Vegas Inferno. Yeah, he definitely is off meta. He definitely loves to run and then set up the pass, and yeah, I mean he's doing pretty well, I believe. The one thing that I do want to do, Trey, in the future is when the MCS tournaments have their the round robin to try to make top 544. I need to play a little bit more. I put myself at a disadvantage because they do go off of games played. So like let's say I play 10 games and you play 30 games and you're +1 and I'm +1, you're going to make it because you've played 20 more games. And it's just like sometimes I just feel like whatever, like if I'm not going to make top 200, I will, I don't play like a ton, but my goal for the next two tournaments after that is to play as much as I can. So then I can try to get like a top 200. But yeah, so I would say really they've really helped on like theme team, right?
Yeah, I got you. So definitely shout out to the guys, the UMC guys, and the ones that are playing in the tournament, and the ones that help the crew out. So very special shout out to the Madden boys on that. So basically, and I kind of wanted to touch on. You kind of already brought it up, and it was funny that you started talking about problem because that was definitely going to be on my agenda of things that I was going to ask you about. So you played problem, and problem is number one on the leaderboards. His name is Snowman, and I'm pretty sure that was his same gamer tag that he's been using since like Madden 2006. If you go back and you watch Madden Nation, he was on the third season of Madden Nation, and they said his gamer tag was Snowman, so he's been using that gamer tag for a while. So it's not. I don't think it's like a work tag or anything like that, but like when you did play him, because I know there's some people you play on the leaderboards and, you end up playing him and you're like, that guy wasn't that good. And, you kind of gave him his credit, but would you say, him being number one is warranted overall, or do you think that he wasn't as good as you thought? Good.
You know, honestly, Trey, like he's definitely really, really good. I mean, he's really, really elite. But I feel personally like my style, my play matches up very well with him. Does it mean I think I'm going to win every game? Absolutely not. But do I think that if we played 10 times, it'd be 5-5, 6-4? Yeah, I do actually, because he plays a lot like Sirius Mo. Um, and I matched up very well with Sirius Mo. But he definitely is top spot for sure. There's a reason why he's doing awesome on the leaderboards. I believe for the MCS, he's 32nd right now. So he's 11 spots worse than Scheming. But no, I mean definitely deserving for being on the leaderboard. Like I said, he gave me some credit, which was cool. It is what it is. Like I'm not looking for like any like goblin on me, but and he also did a couple things where it was like, damn, dude, you're just mad that I beat you. But it is what it is. Can't be mad. Most time people get beat. They they have a reason or they have an excuse. Some valid, some invalid. But no, he definitely deserves it, man. And I think that he'll make a decent run. My only thing for him is I don't believe his offense is that great. I think it's good, but I don't think it's like on the levels of Kiv or Drini or Henry. It definitely is not. He's definitely hoping to make you make a mistake and have it snowball on you, just like how we talked about it. Snowball from Snowman, you know what I mean? So other than that, like, yeah, he reminds me a lot like Serious Mo, which Serious Mo kind of got crapped on because he wasn't exciting scoring, and it was more like, it was just more just not exciting offense in my opinion. And they both won belts. Serious Mo definitely won belts when it was bigger than when Problem did, but I think if this is the year Problem does win a belt, it would be this year because offense is, a little bit OP, and I think it'd help him a little bit. But nah, I mean, like, even when you go down to the leaderboards where it's head to head and he's number one, he's still scoring like only like 16 or 17 and giving up six, which is exceptional on defense, right? 6 points allowed on defense is exceptional. So, we'll go on that. And I mean, the other thing that I will say is players do matter. Like, I don't want to make excuses, but players do matter. Don't let anyone ever tell you they don't matter or the top pros would not have the top players. When I played him, I had a worse team and I won, so it is doable for people out there. And I'm talking about for people out here just listening on the playback. But I mean, he had every top card in the book you could ask for, and I definitely would do it too if I could afford it. I mean, I did spend a pretty penny anyways. So players do matter, but if the players are close enough and you're better, you'll win for sure. So the only times I will say where the players really, really matter is if like, well, I'll just make it up where it's like 92 overall to 87 and you're not better than them, then even if you're close, or you're maybe a slightly better than them, you'll lose, where you have to be really good to beat them. But if it's like 92 to 90, you could beat them still. But yeah, no, just to sum it up, yeah, I mean, Problem definitely deserved it this year for being good, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, players definitely do matter, and people that are on Twitch or live streaming that'll say players don't matter. It's definitely propaganda. There's a reason why they're trying to brainwash you into thinking that you know players don't matter, and you should pay money if you want to compete in these tournaments, because if you don't have $1,000 just laying around, then obviously you don't want to be a professional. But yeah, going back to Problem, and he definitely he called you a mailman, and Problem's a really cool guy from what I know of him. He doesn't really seem like the kind of guy that's going trash talk you. He kind of just stays to who he is and stuff like that. But that is definitely a weird insult, and I'm gonna ask this question for everyone else that's gonna be listening to this on the rewind. Let us know in the comment section below. If you actually do answer this question, I'm going to send you $10 on PayPal. So Shane, hold me accountable to that. If anyone is listening to this, you have to have PayPal, and you have to let me know in the comment section. And the question is this: what is the weirdest insult that someone has taught to you online? Now, obviously, you've been playing online gaming for X amount of years. You've probably got called every name, every racial slur, every homophobic slur there is in the book. But has there been that one insult, that one kind of off the wall like thing that you never seen coming? Let us know in the comment section if anyone is listening and is gonna put it there. So we got to know who the true fans are of the podcast. So with that being said, Shane, I'm probably gonna end up paying like $60 or something, but it's all good. It's whatever. But would you say that that is probably the weirdest insult that you've had online playing so far?
Being called a mailman? Is that what you're asking? Being called a mailman the weirdest insult? Um,
Yeah, just like, or is there any other insults that you've had online where you're just kind of like, the hell does that mean? You know?
I mean, honestly, bro, I probably have. I just can't remember. So I would probably go with the mailman comment because most people that insult or get mad, yeah, it either is racial slurs or it's I beat you up if I saw you in real life and I'm gonna dox you and I'm gonna I mean, dude, dox me, bro. Show up. I don't really care. Show up. But no, I mean, yeah, probably the mailman comment is probably the one that is just like, all right, dude, like so you're saying that so you're like when you're insulting me, I beat you, right? I beat you, and you play the game 10, 11 hours a day. But I just randomly picked up the sticks by what Problem said, beat a guy who is number one on the leaderboards on Mutt. He plays at 10, 11 hours a day. He streams all the time as his full time job, but then he allowed a mailman to beat him. Man, that's not really good look. I mean, that's not a good look. But I mean, honestly, know that he was just saying it because he was upset when he lost. Like, there's no way a normal person could just pick up the sticks and beat Problem, obviously. So I mean, I know that he knows it afterwards. That's why the next day I went into a stream and I said, "Good luck today. Signed your local mailman." And then he was like, "Ah, you went and watched the stream, huh?" And then he like mumbled to himself, but like other than that, man, like nah, it's kind of like whatever. I mean, you make yourself look bad. Like if me, I'm a pro, right? And I get mad at you, Trey, because you beat me, but you're supposedly terrible, and I'm like, oh, yep, the local blue collar guy beat me, picked up the sticks and beat me, but I'm like all in streaming 24/7 and consider myself a top pro. Don't you think that's more embarrassing for me than you?
Yeah, no, definitely. The thing is about it is like people say, oh well, I mean, when you're a streamer, you're gonna have people that that are going to not exactly hold you accountable because they're going to be on your side no matter what, even if you're in the wrong. Now, obviously, if they do something that's like super messed up, then yeah, they'll probably turn on them. But it's like, things like where they get in conflicts, they're kind of blinded and they kind of take their side, which I mean, fair enough. If you like someone, you might give them a pass more than someone that you don't like, but that's definitely a thing with that. Um, so yeah, but shout out to Problem. I don't have anything bad to say about him. He's obviously been a guy that's been a staple in the Manic community for a long time, and he's been doing it at a high level. So definitely shout out to Problem with that. So yeah, so you said you have a kind of a routine that you like to do to kind of get yourself in the mood. So, is the plan so far you're going to wake up before you have to play and kind of get some warm up games? Get warm up games. Is that's the plan because you're old? You have to, Are you a coffee drinker or anything? Or are you just kind of you just kind of roll out of bed and whatever clothes you got on, and you're just like, let's go for it. You know what I mean?
Honestly, bro, nah, I hate coffee. I can't stand coffee. The smell disgusts me, like all that. But nah, man, basically, yeah, I gotta get up, get awake, like I'll have a routine, especially for tournaments that I gotta do. Like what I need to do is I've noticed that if I wake up and I go outside and I go for a good walk and then play some warm up games, I'm better than if I just roll out of bed and do warm up games and get in a walk. So definitely tomorrow I am gonna Just I'm gonna get up hopefully like I don't know, maybe like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Do like a 45-minute walk, and then get a couple games in, warmed up, and then fire up the stream for the paid members, and go from there, man. And hopefully, be playing all day and night.
Hell yeah. And I know that you'll definitely be ready. It's kind of like, people say that when they play sports and, whether that be football and everything, and then people are like, yeah, I'll be nervous, but all it takes is like that one hit. You just need that one hit to kind of get you into things, and then after that, it's like let's go, we're ready. So maybe for you, it's like your butthole might be tight for like the first 5 to 10 plays, and and maybe what you need to do is just throw an interception or something like that, so that way you can be like, oh well, I made my mistake, let's go, let's lock in. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a perfect game, but obviously the idea is you don't want to turn the ball over when you're trying to win that $1,000. But with all that being said, Shane, we had a game take place last week where it was a classic NFC West matchup between Shane's Seattle Seahawks against Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. The Seattle Seahawks came on top of that one, 23-20, I think they're on a win streak right now. I think they won 2 out of their last 3 games so far. So did you get a chance to watch Thursday Night Football, and what were your takeaways on the Seahawks in that game?
Um, you know, yeah, oh, it's a 3-game win streak. Okay, yeah, it's a 3-game win streak. Um, I was happy when I was watching it, and then I was a bit let down in the fourth quarter because honestly, I believe they went super conservative, and it almost cost them, which it almost really did. It went from 20-6 to 20-20, and then Darnold led that drive with JSN making that great catch, and then Myers atoning for his missed field goal for the win. But it's like they were at like I believe the 37-36 when they're up 20-13 with like I believe 3 or 4 minutes left, and basically they handed the ball off 3 straight times. I think they got like 5 yards, and then Myers missed a 52 or 53-yard field goal. But they really took the ball out of Darnold's hand. I understand where you want to run the ball, take the time, but like at least two, like 1 out of 3, give him a shot. Give him like a check down and maybe like one over the top and maybe like a medium route just to see what you have. And if you don't have anything, try to get like a yard or two. Excuse me. But they just like kind of took it out of his hand and became very, very timid, very, very conservative, and it really almost cost him. So almost like ruined the win in a way, if that makes sense. Like obviously you're happy they won. Obviously they won on the road. Obviously they're 3-1, but you played very conservative in the fourth quarter, and it almost bit you in your ass, if you know what I mean. And so for me, it's like I don't know. I was not super impressed with how the game ended up being because you played too scared. But honestly, man, I've been super focused on my Seattle Mariners. They won the American League West trade for the first time since 2001. They're going to be able to host the first or the second round playoffs, the American League Division Series, starting next Saturday. And here's where we are on this. It is funny how expensive the tickets got, bro. So like for the upper level at the baseball stadium, it was selling out for like $570 for the cheap seats. That's how wild it gets. It instantly becomes like for rich people right away, right? And especially when it wasn't even full until the last month or two. But so I've been more ecstatic about the Seattle Mariners. Like, what do you feel about your Patriots, and what do you think they need to do to improve?
Shane, I was kind of hoping you wouldn't ask me about that because usually Rose would shout out to Rose. She's always in the building, but like she'll be here and then she'll like always say, "Oh, what about the Patriots?" But it was actually you that kind of effed me over. And really, all I have to say about the Patriots is that when you fumble 4 times, it's not very likely that you're going to be winning any football games. I don't care if it's professional football or Pop Warner football. Like there's no coming back to that if you fumble four if you fumble 4 times. And Ramondre Stevenson is definitely on the hot seat. He's had some fumbling issues in the past, and I'm a big fan of Ramondre Stevenson. And I just kind of get, because I'm involved in like the Reddits and the New England Patriots communities and stuff. And there was a play. It was like a 4th down and 1, and we were trying to tie the game up. And they threw a pass to the wide receiver, and like and he got pulled down short, and he tried to go backwards. And like you can look at that and say, yeah, he probably should have just plowed forward for the 4th down or whatever. But I just hate the people that the screenshot warriors that'll like they'll have one screenshot and they'll just post it like it's that just cut and dry. And I just hate that so much. So I just kind of get annoyed with that. But hopefully we'll bounce back because we got the Carolina Panthers, and the Carolina Panthers, I thought they were going to be one of those teams that kind of, might not win a game, but they beat the absolute dog S word out of the Atlanta Falcons 26-0. I have no clue how that happened. And and the NFC South is such an interesting division because we also play the Saints. And you look at the Saints, man. I think they played the 49ers, I believe, last week, and they have that Spencer Rattler guy. And, he did pretty good in that game. He had like 3 touchdowns and no interceptions and stuff. So yeah, with that happening, so it looks like we're gonna get Brock Purdy back next week, but the return of the Mac is back. In San Francisco, he did pretty good. So would you say that the NFC West is going to be a two-way race between the Seahawks and the 49ers? And how are after you seeing the Cardinals this season, like, do you think that they're going to be good, or do you think Kyler Murray is kind of on his last legs? You know?
You know, I do think your Patriots will be the Panthers for sure. So I think you'll be back to 500. Um, that's a 10 a.m. Sunday game. That'll be fun for you. Breakfast time. The Seahawks, I mean, I think that they're going to be in the battle for the NFC West. I think the 49ers, they're really, really hurt. I believe they lost Bosa. And honestly, like, I do think it'll be a battle between the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Rams. The Cardinals, I don't like. They don't really impress me much. Their defense is really good, but yeah, Murray doesn't move the needle much for me. He's like a poor man's smaller Russell Wilson, if you want to know what I truthfully feel. And obviously, that you're not taking away from it because Murray's a QB that made the NFL, and I believe he's really like 5'8" in real life. But so that's hard to see in the pocket. So he's super talented, but I do believe his height really hurt him on that. And he doesn't throw the deep ball as well as Russell Wilson did. So yeah, so he's like the JV version of Russell Wilson, and hopefully that doesn't sound too harsh.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray, I know he did win a playoff game and stuff, but it's kind of getting to the point because he's been in the league since like 2019, and it's definitely getting to the point where I'm just kind of confused on what it is the Arizona Cardinals kind of see in Kyler Murray. And it's kind of the same thing with the NFC West because you heard that massive contract that Brock Purdy just signed. And to me, I think Kyle Shanahan is probably one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. So, my only rationale to that is maybe Shanahan sees something in Brock Purdy, or maybe that's like an ownership decision that something that they've seen Brock Purdy. So it's going to be interesting to see how the NFC West plays out. So yeah, you're pumped up for the Mariners. So were you considering, because you were talking about ticket prices and stuff like that? Were you considering maybe going to a playoff game, because it's been like so, because like you said, it's been so long since they've been in the playoffs. I think they've been to the playoffs like a few years ago, but they clinched the division. I don't know. I don't really follow baseball, so forgive me on that. So, were you thinking about going? When was the last time you've seen the Mariners play live?
Um, yeah, they made it a couple years ago. They only had one game though in T-Mobile in Seattle. The wild card was strictly at Toronto. They beat Toronto 2-0 to move on to the American League Division Series against Houston. Can't stand Houston. Finally slayed the Dragon this year. They lost two in Houston in a best of five series, came back at home against Houston and lost in 18 innings, 1-0. So they got swept. So it was only one game, but like they are guaranteed two games minimum at home for the playoffs. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be a sellout. It's crazy. The only way I would ever honestly, bro, pay for that is if I was rich, or like if I was on my, I knew like F it, I'm gonna die. I have terminal, but like I'm healthy enough, I would spend it. But like, bro, $570 or whatever for the cheap seats, dog. That doesn't even count driving over to Seattle, getting a hotel in Seattle, eating in Seattle. I mean, that would cost literally like $900 if I went by myself, and that's not gonna happen. Probably more. But I mean, I went there last year, and I've gone there the year before, but like they've been really terrible when I've gone. Like I'm like the bad luck. I think they were 0-4 last year and 1-2 the year before. So they're like 1-6, bro, when I've gone in the last 2 years. So maybe it's a good thing if I watch them on TV, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I definitely see what you mean on that. I mean, going to live sports is kind of a scam, anyways, in my opinion, because you buy the tickets and then you get there and everything's like so overpriced, and you know, it's like $20 for a hot dog and all this crap, and it used to not bother me when I was younger, but as I got older, like when I went to the Spokane Chiefs game, like going to the bathroom is such like such like a hassle, like thankfully I was able to make it and it wasn't that thing, but imagine if you were like in a professional setting having to go to the bathroom and stuff, like you know for like 3 hours and stuff, like it's kind of not for me. So I know you've been to hockey games. I don't remember. I can't remember, and this is something that I should probably know because because I've been talking to you forever. I'm not too sure if you've ever been to a Seahawks game before. So, you know, if you haven't, like, what are like some of the sports that you've been to? Because I know you've been to a baseball game and a hockey game, and like out of the sporting events that you've been to live, which one would you say is the best that you've experienced?
You know, I've been lucky. I've gone to the Seahawks games a couple times. I think the last one was like when Legion of Boom was like, I think it was the year they were gonna win it all. It was against the Tennessee Titans. Um, they ended up winning, and then that was the same time period I went and saw Little Wayne and all that, or maybe it was the preseason. I don't know. I've seen a preseason game. Oh, it was a preseason game against. I don't remember honestly because it was Little Wayne. But then the game against the Titans was a regular season game when LOB was there, Russell Wilson was there. Um, and then I was there in like 2005 or 2006 with my aunt. She's a 49er fan and a Seahawk fan and a Giants fan. But she was wearing 49er gear. I was rooting for Seahawks. The Seahawks won. It was great. you know, the cheese for me, the Spokane cheese for me, like it is really awesome in the playoffs. You can definitely feel the energy and all that. But like I'm gonna pick baseball, bro, because I gotta see Felix Hernandez pitch in his prime. The King's Court, you wear all yellow. You pay like it is a little bit of a scam, but you're like $30. You get a T-shirt. You get to sit in the section where it's the King's Court. Um, back in the day, but no, I would pick baseball as my favorite sport to watch, especially if we're just going off of like just the feeling I get. But like if you're talking about like the pressure and the energy, the Chiefs have been like amazing because they've been really good. They make usually the playoffs every year. So on that, like I'm sure that if like I went to a Mariners game and they won in a playoff game, I'd die happy, man. But it is funny because like you're talking about the whole bathroom thing, and depending where I sit, I try to hold it as long as possible. But my brother got me some sweet tickets last year where basically you just walk right up the aisle into the bathroom. So like it takes you only like 1 minute to get there. Whereas like if you sit like in cheaper seats, you have to walk, which I'm more accustomed to. I'm more accustomed to the cheaper seats and takes forever getting to the bathroom, and especially as the games moved along faster because of the pitch clock in baseball and all that stuff, you miss a little bit more. Like I said, man, the craziest thing is the one where my brother and I went to the Mariners baseball game. We went to the section, and you like scan like your card or whatever right before you go into the area, and then you pick the food out and drink, and you just walk right out. And they charge it to your card later. You don't go to a person, you don't go anywhere. We were so confused at first until we learned. Like they just have a sky camera that zooms in on your debit card and then they charge you, which is just really wild, Trey.
Yeah, no, that's definitely wild. I mean, technology is definitely evolving on that. So, are there any other sports like some of the more obscure ones like would it interest you if you had the opportunity? Like, you probably wouldn't pay out of pocket for it, but if you had a buddy or like your brother was like, "Hey Shane, I have tickets to a tennis match or like a soccer match or like a golf event," is that something that you'd be interested in going at all or not really?
Golf, no. Tennis, maybe. Soccer, definitely. I like soccer. I definitely go to soccer. Been to WWE. I know it's not sports, but I know it's entertainment. But been there a few times. It's fun. It's entertaining like that. But probably soccer, Trey. If out of anything like the non-popular, well, it is popular. Soccer's popular in every country outside of like North America. Besides, well, Mexico, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
probably soccer, Trey.
all right, so you're going soccer and yeah, so like have you been to because they have them like all the time. Like I'm assuming you've been to like the MMA like events that they have like around like the Northwest and the casinos and everything. And would you say that you're probably more of like a UFC fan than you are boxing, or like is it kind of flip flop? Do you pay attention to boxing and UFC at all?
Honestly, Trey, I'm gonna shock you here. I haven't been to any of the MMA fights around here. I do know a couple people that did MMA that just only made it to like the minor. I would call it the minor leagues, but I mean pretty legit. Have run into Juliana Pena, the girl who won the UFC title against Amanda Nunez. She's from Spokane. My wife worked with her at Steer In, which was my sister-in-law's business for a while. So that's pretty cool. Michael Cheza, I might be saying it wrong. Ran into him at Market Street Pizza. Super cool guy. But yeah, I mean, I'm more of a UFC guy than boxing. Like my favorite boxer was Mike Tyson. I met him in person. Um, But like I will watch some boxing still, like depending on who the who's fighting. But yeah, I'm more UFC, bro.
Yeah, got you. So when you go to like these events, right? That when you go to like the Seattle Seahawks and the Seattle Mariners, like is the live environment affect you in terms of your fandom? Like, would you say that you're more animated when you go to like a Mariners game or a Seahawks game? Are you kind of the same way that you play that you are that when you're just like watching in any other environment?
Honestly, I'm probably a little bit more outgoing at home. To be really honest, because I might say some dumb crap where like, you know, just like pissed off, blow off steam, like, oh man, he effing blew it, like blah 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 blah. Where, in person, like I'm cheering for you, like I cheer the same way. Like when I'm like happy, ecstatic, or bummed or pissed off, I'll do the same thing. But like maybe, like I said, maybe a little bit more outgoing at home. Other than that, like like I'd say, I'm pretty much the same way out in the open at a stadium than at home. Maybe like might say something a little bit more rude, I guess, at home, but I mean, probably not. I mean, I've probably said the same crap in person. So I don't think that I ever really crossed the line, if you know what I mean. Like I don't think I've ever crossed the line in person watching a game or on at home watching the game. I don't think you could be like, wow, Shane is nuts. Like, dude, he really wished bad intentions on a player because he missed a free throw or missed a football kick. I might say they suck, and I might really believe it. Do they suck? Obviously, like compared to me, no, they're way better than me. But we're talking about like in the league, right? NFL, baseball, MLB, NBA, NCAA, but nothing where like you'd be like, whoa, that's really inappropriate to say about a player. Like, you know how some people online are to say some horrible, horrible stuff? Nah, man. You get basically how you see me now, Trey, is what you get in real life. Sometimes I'm a little bit more outgoing, sometimes I'm quiet.
Yeah, no doubt, and and who knows, maybe later down the line we can get together and we can do a live stream of us watching the next Seahawks and Patriots matchup, and throughout the course of the live stream we end up getting into a fight and never talking to each other again or something. That'd be hilarious. But
Oh
but no,
no, that's
so
funny as hell. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. I seen your taunt. I didn't know if you had like something to say or not, but yeah. Um, so yeah, and this ties into my would you rather segment because we are kind of at that point in the podcast. And I don't know if Shane has a would you rather, but my would you rather, Shane, if you have a choice, you can either see the Seattle Mariners. It's Game 7 of the World Series. If the Seattle Mariners win this game, they're world champions. Or the Grim Reaper comes back and says, Shane, you can pick anyone, dead or alive, to perform for you exclusively, and like your family and whoever else you want to bring to the event. And the caveat to that is you can pick any artist, any band, any singer to perform live for you and everyone else exclusively. In that situation, what would you take?
So your question on the would you rather is, would you rather watch the Mariners win the World Series or pick any musician, dead or alive, to perform for me and my family?
Yes, that is correct. And you could pick like a total of like I don't know, like 5 or 6 musicians, so you could build like an entire like lineup, so to speak.
So, okay, so would you rather see the Seattle Mariners win the World Series or pick any musician, dead or alive, to perform for friends and family? So like Tupac, DMX, 50 Cent, Celine Dion, Luther Vandross for me. Man, it's really easy, Trey. I'm being dead honest when I say that. Seattle Mariners winning the World Series, hands down. Not even a question in my mind, bro. I am going the Seattle Mariners winning the World Series over watching any alive or dead artist in the world.
Yeah, no question. I kind of figured that would be your response, and if you were to ask the same to me, it wouldn't be the Seattle Mariners, but if I could go to the Super Bowl and see the Patriots win live and stuff, I would definitely pick that 9 times out of 10. I guess mostly I think the sentimental value, like with my dad and stuff, because we both grew up watching Patriots, so watching them win live, even though we've experienced it multiple times, together, I think it would be definitely very special on that. So we're definitely on the same page for that one. So do you have a would you rather for your side of things or no?
Oh, I always do, bro. I was just seeing if you you know, remember, I know your memory is like an elephant, bro. It's real strong. What's up, Rose? Uh oh, you got on a squaws game? No, you're good. You're good. So just so you know, I'm going to update you on this. I will be streaming the single limbs game against the 21st ranked player in the world for the single limbs for paid members only. So hopefully I'll see you there. I'll need you guys' support. So Trey, here's a would you rather. Would you rather have a perfect memory or be able to forget anything you wanted?
Oh, that's a good one. So would I rather have a perfect memory or the ability to forget anything? So if I choose to forget anything, I could pick and choose which memories I want to forget, or is
Correct.
it just like random, like whatever memories they forget? You know what
No,
I
you
mean?
you would get to choose, Trey. So like anything bad happening to you, you'd forget it if you wanted to. Like that memory is just snatched away from you.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And honestly, like I would probably for this hypothetical one, I would choose forget like any memory that's bad. I would choose that one to forget. I think the more interesting question because your question was create the perfect memory and like if you're saying like nostalgia, right? Like if you could like all the nostalgia, like it could be like you're listening to a song on the radio that you remember where you were like 5 years ago or when you were a kid and everything was going good in your life. If it was between that or like you said, like never having a bad memory or being able to forget the bad memories, I like nostalgia. I know nostalgia is like you got the rose tinted glasses and you tend to think that things were better back then because you were just happier back then, but in reality, there was probably some bad stuff that happens to you, but your brain just chooses to remember the good stuff of it, and it kind of blocks out the past ones of it. So, but for your hypothetical, Shane, I would probably choose the ability to forget all the negative memories. What about you?
Oh, with ease, Trey. With ease, I'd forget every bad thing that happened because having a perfect memory, like that'd be cool, but like you still deal with people even if they knew you had a perfect memory, they'd argue that you didn't really have a perfect memory, whoop de whoop. Um, I would definitely do everything in my power. I would choose to forget memories. So any anxiety, stress related thoughts, it'd be gone. Rose, you faced an LTD Calvin, DJ Moore, and defense had Taylor Mays. You end up winning 21-14. Hell yeah, good work on defense. Okay, Trey, I got two more, man. I'm gonna give you a daily preference one and then a deep one for you, okay? And then I'll be done, I promise. So my question is to you, would you rather live without the internet or live without AC and heating?
Oh boy. And it's interesting, just going back to the thing because I just thought about this, but say you chose to eliminate all the bad memories. Like, how are you gonna learn in life? Because like, yeah, some memories don't, but it's like, you have a bad memory and it kind of shakes you, right? So, if you're playing Madden and you throw an interception, it's a bad memory, but you learn from it. And your brain's like, okay, well, I can't throw it this route, so I'm going to learn from that and not. So maybe that's like something that you want to think about because if you don't have bad memories, then how the hell else are you gonna learn from experiences if you just forget about them? You know what I mean? But to answer your question about the would you rather live without AC or internet? I would say for me, Shane, like if living like where I live right now, where yeah, it gets hot, it gets cold and stuff, but it's not too extreme on either side of the fence. I feel like you might disagree with me on that. If I was living in like a place where it gets really, really cold or really, really hot, then I would probably say AC. But if I'm living where I'm living right now, I would probably say I'd sacrifice AC for internet. I would just, if it was cold, I'd just put on extra layers. If it's hot, I'd just be naked and break out all the fans and stuff that I can and eat ice cream and stuff. That's a good image right there.
That was fantastic. Thank you. Rose said, "Well, the problem with would you rather forget anything or remember everything? Most people would choose to forget their embarrassing moments, but does other people still remember those embarrassing moments, but you can't remember? But at the same time, at least you don't got those memories. You know what though, Rose? I would still want that because then even if they're like, yeah, you remember when you crapped your pants when you're drunk, and you're like, nah, and you don't really, so it's whatever. It doesn't really affect you. Nah, Trey, I think I don't know. That's a tough one with the internet one. I'll probably go without AC and heating too. The last would you rather, Trey, this for you and Rose. Would you rather know when or how you're gonna die?
I would probably say I I would pick neither because it's like say you say okay, well tell me how I'm gonna die, and they say oh it's gonna be a heart attack or something like that. Then every time you have a little bit of chest pains, you're gonna be freaking out and think that it's happening. If you choose when, then it's like, okay, well, I have X amount of days left. And it's like, I just feel bad for people that, and I don't know if I want to get this, but like when you tell people you have X amount to live like that has to be very, very difficult. Like back in the day when there was no cure for a certain STD and, people only had X amount of nights to live. So honestly, Shane, for that one, I would probably say neither. Like, I'm scared of death. Like that's like one of my biggest fears, if I'm being completely honest, is dying just because I have no idea what to expect when it happens and stuff. And I don't want to get into like religion or anything like that, obviously. But yeah, it's very hard. But I would probably choose if I had to choose how, to be honest.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think most people have a fear of death, right? And it's usually because of the unknown. Like, just being brutally honest, it's usually the unknown. Is there life after? How will I go? When will I go? Honestly, if I had to choose, and either one's tough because, right? How are you gonna die if I choose that? Like you said, dude, like, and it's like you're gonna die of a heart attack. Yeah, like the next chest pain I get, I'm like, oh man, it's a big one. It's a big bambino. You're screwed. Um, I would probably want to know when. I like to know stuff, Trey. That's where like probably my weakness is that I need to know stuff and I need to figure it out and I need to study it. Well, unfortunately with death, there is no research or there's no answer you can give. Because even if you research and you're like, oh, if I eat this way or exercise this way, but then you get hit by a bus, right? So then it didn't matter. Or, somebody is a bad person, right? Or you get in a car wreck. So I would probably pick in rather than how, because I just have a need to know. But yeah, it would kind of suck if it was like, Shane, you're going to die at 48. And I'm like, damn, here I am, few years left. Because my biggest fear, honestly, bro, is like my kids, right? The 19-year-old would remember me. I don't want to leave him yet. But like the 5-year-old, he would forget me, and like it's probably my own ego, right? Rose said, "Don't go full Final Destination or that Nickelback song, Saving Me, where the music video shows the timer countdown." Yeah, like, can you imagine, you guys, if you had a timer counting down? That would be. I'll say that would be probably super super stressful. But here, I'll flip it on you guys. Here, Trey, I'll give you this. Would it make you feel better, right? If it said you get to live to 91, would you have anxiety still, thinking like, oh man, I only got 60 more years, or would it make you feel better knowing that you have 60 plus years? It would definitely make my anxiety go away. I'm being honest. I'd be like, damn, I have another lifetime plus 10 plus years. Hell yeah. The only way it'd be like super stressful is if it's like near my age, right? So I'll flip it to you guys. Would it make you feel less anxiety if you got an old age number than if it was not knowing at all? Like, what I'm trying to say, I guess, is like, if you said, I want to know when, and it says you're going to live to 91, rather than not knowing at all, would you prefer that or no still, Trey and Rose?
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely worry, like like you said, like if it was an old number and I knew that, and there was nothing that, so that means I could be as reckless, reckless as I want, and I can eat all the food that I want. Like, if it was like that situation, then yeah. I mean, it don't even have to be 91. Just give me like, I don't know, 70 and stuff. And I just wonder because it's like, as you get older in life, like, does your perspective on things change? Like, are you kind of ready for it? You know what I mean? Like, as you get older, you're like, okay, I've kind of outlived this and stuff. But
No,
Shane, if you could choose to be reincarnated into any animal or anything like that, what would you pick to be reincarnated? When I look at Shane, I think he could be reincarnated as a deer. Honestly, I don't know. I kind of get a deer vibe from Shane if he was to be reincarnated into anything.
Rose said 90 would be about right because you get that old, you start to get tired of beat down. So that's about right. I honestly think so too. And I am going to answer your question, Trey. Because 90, like, you're old. Like, let's be honest, you're really, really old. You're tired. You've seen people pass away that you love. You just get beat down over time. Like, and you hurt, you're sore. Um, like my dad was like the strongest person I would ever know, man. Like he was tough, he was big, he was strong, like he was in shape. And I mean, then he broke his femur when he got older, he broke his hip, and he's still moving, still living, but my parents are both 74, and like they're tired, you can tell they're tired. Not tired like where they want to like die, but like more like they're just kind of worn down a little bit, if that makes sense, right? And I mean, that's just because father time, you don't ever beat father time. Like, it sucks, but you don't beat father time. Rose said, I think when you're getting older, most people choose to want to know how because we learn to value time. But as a kid, you don't realize the importance, so most kids would choose when. Or, I mean, but how. They would choose how. I definitely agree. I definitely agree on that, Rose. I mean, it was definitely weird. Like when I was in my late teens, I didn't care when I died or when I didn't. I'm just gonna be brutally honest. Like it was what it was. Like I've always had this weird connection with like knowing about death. Like not to get like all like weird about it, but like I just wasn't as fearful. I'm more fearful now, and I think it's because I have kids. Right, kids change like the perspective for me personally. Um, and yeah, I mean, most people, it is a little scary, right? And Trey, I'm not trying to give you like anxiety or nightmares. I mean, I apologize if it does like bug you. Like I didn't think of it, so that's on me. But yeah, it is a little like not knowing when for me, like not knowing like do I got 40 years? Do I not have 10? Do I have 50? Did I waste my time when I only got 2 years left? Am I gonna live to 100? So it doesn't really matter. And it's funny, like I don't know if anyone remembers the doctor's notes, like so in the early '90s, Trey, like you weren't even born, but in the early '90s, it would be like to live longer, do this, and then have the doctor sing at the bottom. And number one, right, was exercise. Number two was food. Number three was genetics. Nowadays, number one is genetics, and then number two is exercise, and number three is food because they're realizing more and more like your genetics are going to get you farther more than other stuff. Rose said like that Nickelback reference, like, hey, what you reference when he's playing games? Hey, chat, remind me. I think that was a song. Hey, I sing horrible, so I can't sing. Oh, yo, I love this. How you remind me. But no, like, so yeah, so that's where I'm at. Reincarnated. If I have to pick an animal, I want to be a lion, or I want to be like a killer whale because like I am that whale in the sea. Like I'm better than the great white sharks. I'm that, and I get to live a long time. What about you, Trey? What about you, Rose? Uh oh, we're Trey.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I didn't know if that was it, but yeah, like if I was reincarnated, I would be reincarnated as a fly because I just want to piss people off. That's all I want to do if I ever be reincarnated.
24-hour
But
Trey. Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. But with that being said, all right, Shane. So someone comes to you and says, "Okay, you're gonna," and I know like this is kind of rash or whatever. Someone says, "Okay, you're gonna die. You have one thing that the one thing you want to do before that happens. What are you picking?" For me, like if someone says I'm gonna die, I'm gonna be like, "Okay, well send me to Area 51." Send me to Area 51 because if I'm gonna die anyways, like I want to know like what's really out there, and if you think about it, if I go to Area 51 and there is alien bodies, then and aliens do exist, then doesn't that mean like in saying that there is something out there that's greater than what we've been told all our life if there's like extraterrestrial life that exists?
Yeah, but then I mean, like for me, like I know where you're getting at. Totally respect it. Honestly, if they're like, you got one thing you can do. If I was single, it'd be a huge ass orgy. Just saying. Um, all females though. But obviously I'm married with kids, so honestly, I would probably be like, take me to the ocean, warm ocean, with my family, with having a nice dinner, and just like slow it down and hope and just enjoy one last get together near the ocean and just like it'd feel peaceful. Rose said she'd be like a freaking orca. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get you, Rose. That's what I'm saying. I get you. No, no, no Diddy party, hell no, and no Bonnie blew 1,000 men first one girl, first one girl. Screw 100 man first one girl. Bonnie blew 1,000 men first one girl. Nah, man, no, but seriously, I would definitely just pick like the just like the chill moment. Like I don't really like. I don't know. It's kind of like if you get to die and you ask whoever you believe in, like one thing that you want to know, and they can answer it for you. What would it be? And it'd be I don't know what it'd be for me now. Like I mean, damn, why couldn't I have been born like 100 years later, where the average lifespan's 125? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, shoot, that's where we are, I guess.
Yep, that's where we are, I guess. And it's been very, very good banter. Shout out to Rose for always coming in. She kind of came in at the end there, but we appreciate her for stopping by and everything, and always being a supporter. But with all that being said, Shane's got a big day ahead of him. It is single eliminations. LFG, let's beep and go. Shane's got this in the bag. He's going to take down Scheming, and he's going to be one step closer to that $1,000 in his bank account, and it's going to be awesome. So make sure if you're listening to this prior to tonight, and even if you're listening to this on Saturday night, you don't know what happens. Buy the membership and you can watch it back on the archive thing and all that. And yeah, it is game time. So I'm gonna throw it back over to Shane to see if he has anything else to say before we get out of here. But we appreciate you guys for checking us out. Be sure to stay subscribed to Shane for more tip videos and live streams and all that. We will see you not this Friday, but the Friday after next. Shout out to Ice Cube.
Um, so okay, so I am gonna answer. Rose has one question, Trey, and then we'll get up out of here. She said, "I see your Khalil Mack is an 89 in your binder. Is that because of chem?" No, it is strictly because of chemistry, Rose. Just like, for example, Aaron Donald or Ramsey being a 90, they are because of chemistry. But yeah, so that's that. So yeah, let's get it going tomorrow, man. Let's get it going tomorrow. For Trey, I'm Shane. This was the West Coast Podcast. I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, yeah, it's chemistry, Rose. All right, we will see you guys tomorrow.